Hello, everyone. Welcome to Man's weekly roundtable discussion. I'm Lawrence Littleton, Executive Director of Man NFP and the author and creator of Man's Community Violence Intervention, Workforce Development, and Community Development Curriculum. I'm also the author of America, the Ultimate Me Society, which you can find on Amazon. Our weekly roundtable is a space for open, respectful dialogue. Here's how we make it work. Please raise your hand and you'll be called on in the order the hands were raised. Each person will have at least 1 minute to share their thoughts. This ensures that every voice is heard and valued. The topics we discuss will change weekly, giving us a chance to explore different perspectives, challenge our thinking, and find common ground. This week's conversation is on community based businesses. What makes them thrive? Are we thriving in this area? A chance to recognize the strengths and values that unite us. All right. Um, so, one of the reasons that I chose this topic today is because on the 15th of November, you guys all will be getting the flyers, links, and all that stuff that I'll be designing. And probably later on today, I'll get that going to Man's, I hope to be monthly incubator, business incubator, where we come together. And this is actually going to be on site too, where we come together and we discuss our businesses, what we do, our skill sets, our visions, any niches or opportunities that we see out there, and see if we can figure out how to put the pieces together. So today I wanted to talk about or bring up community-based businesses and what makes them thrive, and are we living in this area? And community-based businesses, there are essential community-based businesses like gas stations, grocery stores. Um, those are the only two that I can really come off the top of my head and really think about that's essential, that you need to be able to get food and gas for your car, and that are essential. Then you have your recreational businesses, your lounges and clubs and restaurants and stuff like that. Then the other ones, the beauties and all that kind of stuff. But what makes them thrive? Obviously the income or the medium income of said communities. You can look at an area like Hyde Park, and you'll see a plethora of different communities-based businesses, and they all thriving. You can go a couple roads down a couple miles south of Hyde Park, and you only see, two or three specific type of community-based business they thrive in, but you don't see as many options as you will in an area like Hyde Park. Um, um, what makes that, and that's what I want to have a discussion about. What makes those businesses thrive, and are we as males, black males in these communities, some of us born and raised in these communities, are we thriving in community-based businesses? I'll leave it there. As far as raise your hand, it's not that many of us. When I wrote when I came up with the rules, I was anticipating there would be a lot of people, but it's not a lot of people. So just feel free to jump in and kick off your discussion, as long as we be respectful of each other.
Yeah, I would say, number one, as it relates to the community, it's the business understanding the needs of the community. A business can have a service or product that they supply, but if that service or product doesn't meet the need of the community, then I think the likelihood of it being successful is slim. So I think being tapped in to understand the needs of the community, and figuring out, how to meet those. So it's almost like figuring out. I mean, people say figuring out a problem and then creating a business that can solve the problem. I don't necessarily need it to be a problem, but just a need or something that's missing, that the community needs and also wants. So I think, designing a business that meets a need of that particular community and something that community wants and or needs, I think is essential for success. as a community-based organization.
I agree.
Nope.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree. I agree as well.
That's
Go ahead, bro.
that's why you can, like you said, you can see um a plethora of business right down the street in Hyde Park, and you come here and you only gonna basically see you know, junk food, beauty supply stores, and gas stations.
Yeah, I agree. I think what we're lacking though, in our communities, um, is finance. We got some people with some restaurants. I mean, we got a couple different franchises and stuff like that. But I think for as far as essential wise, um, I believe that we need a lot more when it deals with financing. If you're talking about like businesses, you know what I mean. We need more institutions that's able to lend money. Um, because we don't really have any like real community banks that actually supports, you know, the businesses that we attempt to open. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot to get a business loan, especially with a major branch, of the banking system. So I think that we need more finance uh, in the community, also along with real estate. You know, as far as that goes, because even owning a business, a lot of times we got people who've attempted to start businesses, but the main thing is that if you can't keep uh, if you can't kind of control the expense side of it, and that's as far as like rent and things like that, it started to affect your bottom line, and that's what's put a lot of us out of business. Because we don't have enough working capital to get us through. So we try to bootstrap it right from the beginning, and we don't have the sales to support that. So that's what puts us out of business. So that's my take on it.
Um. Wow. I learned something. um. I'm going to share my screen real quick so we can see the title. We can.
So while you do that, I wanted to piggyback. That was really great insight, Brother Walton. I just looked up Liberty Bank and Trust. I just kind of typed in black owned banks. Has anybody ever tried to utilize that particular bank? So I put in black owned. That was my first kind of go to, but there are banks like Self Help, who is not black owned but majority black operated. And so that those might be opportunities. The other thing that came to mind as well is just opportunities to gain knowledge on how to start a business or how to own land or how to create generational wealth. So even what you just shared in reference to what can be the pitfall of starting a business, some individuals don't know, kind of what it takes to sustain a business. So even the information you just gave, how readily accessible is that type of information in our community? So the banking aspect is one, but then the other aspect is there accessible information on best practices for how to start, grow, support, sustain a business? And I
I,
haven't tried to look that much, so I can't say if there is or isn't. But I think that is another piece to community-based businesses in reference to what you said, Brother Walton. So yeah, that was good info.
I would say that it is a lot of information about that. You would just have to go find it. Every individual, we got AI, we got the internet, we got all kinds of resources and shit like that where you can go learn. Of course, it's not no college crash courses or no trades or nothing like that that's gonna teach you. But if you're really interested in it, it's one of those things where even after you do all of the analyzing, you still got to jump in and swim. I think that it's like a cultural thing where it's just not really prioritized. You know what I'm saying? I do think that everybody can do their part, each one teach one or whatnot. But I think that the biggest deal is just that in the hood and in the black community, it's just not really a priority. It's not really a priority to own or learn uh and shit like that. I'm pretty sure we can all identify what the most common priorities is amongst the majority of people. I'm not gonna say everybody or all people, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's what the biggest issue is. I think that when people like open businesses or you go for licenses and zoning and stuff like that, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. When you go to like those alderman meetings, right? So let's say, for instance, I wanted to open up a club, right? The people of the community can stop me from opening up that club in a certain area, right?
Correct.
Right.
So I think that uh that's the reason why we keep seeing the same type. Like, you, for instance, you can ride down 75th Street and within 8 blocks you'll see four beauty supplies and four salons. You feel me? And then you maybe skip 2 or 3 blocks and then that same cycle gonna start again. Chicken, hair shop. It's gonna kind of repeat the same cycle because ain't nobody really, like we talked about last week, tapped in with the politics. So it's like nobody really like understand that, it's nothing holding you back doing what you're trying to do, what you want to do.
So I'll jump in.
Yeah.
I'll jump
Go
in.
ahead.
So, so what makes them thrive? You guys see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, all right. So what makes them community-based business? What makes them thrive? What the young man just spoke on was you see chicken, hair shops, et cetera, and those and down 75th Street. 75th Street is still in that area is predominantly Black American. So why those businesses thrive and they stay open and they've been open for so many years is because it's the values of the community that drive community-based businesses. Um, so in our communities, we value number one social value and now this is my opinion on what I've observed over the years, being Black American and doing research on culture. One of the top values in Black American culture is how you look and what you got on. So if you look in the communities of Black America, you're gonna find businesses like each one of you guys spoke on, the needs of the community, so forth and so on. But that's driven by the values of the community. So and that's driven by culture. So in Black America, number one value is how you look and what you got on. And that's why you see barbershop, beauty shop, beauty supply, because we value how we look. You'll also see liquor stores, so forth and so on, and all around those areas. That's a top value. The second value is social in our culture, in my opinion, is we like to get high, drunk, and party. And the reason, and I got some theories behind that. One of the theories I have is that a lot of us are traumatized and don't like who we are, so we run to getting high and drunk to self-medicate and stay partying and kicking it, so we don't have to face the realities of life. But adult businesses capitalize on that. The third one that you may see is the restaurants. You see the Arabs now they competing with each other. They notice that we like signage, we like lights and bright and cameras, all the lights. So now if you go past the JJ's, the Sharks, and all these places, they got all these big lights and signage that attracts us. So, but the last 20 years or 30 years of Black Americans don't cook. We have become the laziest group of people, in my opinion, from my observation, out there. So we don't do a lot of cooking. And that's why you see fast food restaurant. I'm one of the guys right now. I spend probably 30, 40. I mean, I only know a couple $100 a week on going on takeout because I ain't cooking shit. And I raised my son who on the line. I go get three chicken wings from Pete for $1 when he was a couple years old in a heartbeat. Before I go in the kitchen and cook something. So those values drive community-based businesses, and that's what makes those businesses thrive. Where you go down into Hyde Park, there's a different median income range, which provides more disposable income, and you also have different groups, different ethnic groups that have different cultural values. If you drive straight down 95th, as soon as you start hitting Beverly, right before you get to Western, you'll see a plethora of different business because you got different income ranges and you got people who have different values, social values that drive community-based businesses. Um, are we thriving in this area? I think that we are thriving in the areas of that line up with our social values. So yeah, we got plenty of barbershops, even though they push the lining back. We got plenty of beauty shops to go get the hair hats installed. Plenty of them. The Koreans thriving. I mean, not the Korean. I'm talking about us. So black women and black men are thriving in the beauty. And they got barbershops and they got beauty shops galore. Some of them try to do the boutique thing to address the clothing thing. I think that most of us are just socially programmed to go and get our clothes from other places ever since integration happened.
Right.
When our ancestors and elders were forced to spend their money in essential businesses with each other. But after, and I got this from Dr. Claude Anderson. This is not coming from me. So Dr. Claude Anderson, I should say, and my aunt Randy, may she rest in peace, enlightened me to this fact that pre-segregation, pre-integration, Black Americans were thriving, and they had all of the community-based businesses, essential and non-essential, in the communities. And
Mm-hmm.
once the civil rights thing happened, and everybody got to integrate into white society and go to white stores, that took the black dollar. Everybody wanted to go and get white and go to white people's stores, go to the big malls and stuff like that. White ice is colder, is the saying that they have in the South. You can have black ice and white ice, and blacks will go get the white ice because they believe, for some reason, that that white ice is colder. And that reason, I'll say it, is a built-in inferiority complex that Black Americans have, and you'll see that when you subconsciously you'll talk to Black Americans and you'll hear them say, "Well, white people do it too, and white people do this," and well, you don't talk about what white people do, and white that's that inferiority complex speaking out, because it shouldn't matter what white people do. If white people jumping off of buildings, that means you need to do it too. If white people should not be the benchmark of our behavior and what we doing or what's happening in our inside our homes and our communities. And I just wanted to get that out there because I'm not saying that anybody on this call is thinking that way. I just wanted to address that as far as in terms of how it relates to community-based businesses and what makes them thrive, and why we are not thriving in essential-based businesses. Before I yield, I would like to bring up gas stations. That's an essential, a very essential community-based business. I'm old enough to remember black-owned gas stations. I also old enough to remember when they started to go away, and these new ethnic groups came in, mainly Arabs, and East Indians, and Pakistanis, and all of these people from the oil-rich lands now have gas stations primarily all over America. For that sake, why do they have the monopoly on gas stations, and why we don't have one community-based gas station? I'll yield.
I can answer that. Um,
Okay.
one of the reasons is the upfront capital. So it's going to take you anywhere between probably $250,000 to $2 million to to get a gas station. So you got to find somebody to finance that, right? That's one of the reasons, and so this
Could
is
we
why they're
could
able.
we could we could we practice group economics And if
With
we were
yeah,
practicing group economics, could black people come up with that type of money?
absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely,
I yield.
absolutely,
I'm sorry for
absolutely.
interruption. I just wanted to
Yeah,
toss
no,
that out
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I was just going to get to that point. That's
I'm
what it would
sorry.
take. Yeah, that's what it would take. And so I think we look at it more of on an individual basis. And this is what I was saying about, um, actually learning and studying business, because as you was touching on the point about some of the businesses like the barber shops, the hair shops, those are businesses, but it's more of a sole proprietorship for an individual to come out. And so I think we are thriving in that area. We got a lot of people that's becoming more sole proprietors, and they are able to come out and earn a living for themselves. But when you step over into the next realm and you start to begin to try to build a business with employees, it's a whole nother level to that, because now if you want to have a sustainable business and you want to thrive, you have to also want your employees to thrive, because they are the ones who help you assist you in moving the business forward. So your turnover rate can be very high, because when a person comes into your business and they are an employee, you want them to perform well. You want them to have great customer service or great work ethic and all of that. But you have to be able to compensate them for that. You have to be able to pay them for that, which a lot of times you look at these situations, right? If you look at how many businesses are able to pay their employees healthcare benefits, workman's compensation, pay into the Social Security, pay into the unemployment. You see what I'm saying? So it may cost you $60 an hour to hire this person, even though you're only paying him $25 an hour. And so a lot of us don't understand that. We think that, we can, this is where the problems coming in. And this is where go back to the what the brother said about, we need more education and training about this. So yeah, we got a lot of people that speak on, you know, uh, on social media about getting to business and opening it up, but we usually come in treating it more so as like a hustle. You see what
Can
I'm
I
saying?
say
Because
something though?
yeah, go
Uh,
ahead.
Addressing the gas station situation, right? When I was locked up, I used to read the law library. I used to read about a whole bunch of different shit on the law library, right? It was right on the tablet. You could just read it any day, all day. And one of the things I got interested in was a lot of the, the fraud that was going on amongst the gas station workers, the Indians, well, the owners, the Indians and the Pakistanis and all of those niggas, right? So one thing I learned from reading about they shit was that they was taking out loans for these things. They didn't come with working capital, and they got incentivized to come and open up those businesses. So for one, that's one reason why you see a lot of them, right? They get tax incentives and all of that. So they already come in with a different knowledge. Like y'all came and said that, oh, we got to practice Google economics. We need 250,000 liquid cash. And that's just really not the case when we can all just personally guarantee a business entity and then take a loan out for that money. And then we would probably owe interest or whatever, whatever. But it's a cash flowing business. So cover the loan would cover inventory, payroll, et cetera, and we paying back a loan off a cash flowing business. You see what I'm saying? And if anything goes wrong, then the entity is what takes the hit. We pay insurance, we pay all of that. So I think that the reason why we last behind in business is because some of this knowledge is just not. We just don't have this knowledge, and the same goes with any business. With any business that you want to start, you can pretty much start up an entity and you personally guarantee it, or slowly but surely build that entity's credit, right? Just like you, Pops, you got a credit card under one entity, right? One of your
Mm,
entities, right?
yeah.
Now if you were to scale that, you would be able to afford more things. If you wanted to go get a car, if you wanted to get an office, you would be able to do all of that under your business if your business was a cash flowing business. So when
Right,
you
It's
but
do,
that's all old law though right now because no, they are not guaranteed. You have to personally guarantee every loan that they're giving you now.
that's
So you
cool.
used to
So
could
now that
right,
means that you got to be responsible with your credit. That's cool. Even if you
yeah,
personally guarantee it, if you personally guarantee a cash flowing business, I mean that's how they winning in the gas station thing. I don't think that is
so
nothing. I don't think that is nothing stopping us right now if we wanted to start an entity, a C corp, S corp, whatever,
no, you
and
yeah,
take that route.
yeah.
Nothing that's
You
gonna
can
stop
start
us
it.
from doing it.
You can start it, but until we get the experience right of going into a bank with a business plan, right? uh, and you dealing with a loan officer who determines whether you get this loan or not. You know what I'm saying? I've been in business for over 20 years, so I understand all of this. And I used to feel the same way, right? So I had this corporate structure. I've been under C corp, I've been under S corp, and I've been under LLC. You know what I'm saying? I've tried all three of them, and each one of them have different tax benefits. You see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Um, it depends a lot of times on okay, we could have all of the credentials to go and get this loan. We could have good credit, we could have a great business plan, et cetera, right? But in this country, um, this is why you don't see a lot of it's a lot of people who've tried this. Uh, if they don't, it's certain criteria that they have to follow when it comes to lending. They have certain ethnicity groups of people that they're going to lend certain amounts of money to open up certain types of businesses. For whatever reason that is, I guess we would have to dig into that. But you can see that, right? You can see all of the Asians or whatever with the health. I mean, with the beauty supplies, and Indians gas stations, whatever. Indians Dunkin' Donuts and stuff like that.
mhm.
That's why I initially said
So
in the
those
beginning
type of
that
things are franchises, right? My father-in-law, he opened up a franchise, and that's what interested me about franchising, right? So something like Dunkin'
So
Donuts.
hold on. We going down another road. Let him finish with his thought
right.
before
So
we
I
go
was
on
saying that
because
that's where
he
the
wasn't talking really about franchising. He was just giving an example of some things. So
right,
let
yeah. So
let
I
him
was just
let
gonna
go.
say, yeah, just real quick, I was just gonna say this is why we need more community based banks because this is based on relationships. It's not that easy to go, and I know a lot of people think that it's not that easy to just go in a bank and you got all of these credentials. Your credentials don't equal them to lend you money. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the part that we gotta. That's why we have to become our own bank. You know what I'm saying? If we have to come with something like, hey, okay, we got 250,000, we got 300,000, we got 400,000. So now let's see what we can do from that point. But for us to walk into a bank with just credit alone, you see what I'm saying? And with the credentials, they not going. You see what I'm saying? They just not gonna do it. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
our only shot would have been maybe something like a SBA loan or something like that. This is why a lot of the businesses are closing, brother. Like a prime example, uh, like uh, uh, um, what was that one? Like you see how we sold off all of the J and J's and stuff like that. So that was they came in because it was poorly managed, I'm assuming, and that's what happened. And this is why they all owned by a different group of individuals now. You see what I'm saying? But it's not that simple. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it can't be done, but I think that a lot of fluff is like going around as far as like with the media and stuff like that, saying, "Hey, it's nothing stopping us. It's not." But we have to also understand that hey, because this is what makes us want to quit. When you feel like you've done all you can, man, and you've got all these credentials, you got your credit up, you got everything, man, that the system said that you're supposed to have, and you walk in a bank and you get denied a loan based on they don't shit. They don't really have to give you no explanation, and we don't see this as a good fit for our for the bank. You see what I'm saying? We don't want this on our balance sheet or whatever the case may be.
So
And
what it
then you
sounds
like,
like,
damn,
what that
go
sounds
ahead.
like to, what that sounds like you're explaining uh, is real racism,
Absolutely.
not not the racism that we've been tricked into believing is racism today, which is
Right.
somebody not liking you. Um,
Right.
you're explaining real racism, which is the real reason why I brought up the gas stations, and that's because what you're talking about, we've been phased out through what based on what happened, based on the conversation that we had last week, the political landscape, and all these other factors that you bringing up created an environment where the essential business gas station goes to this group based on the relationship that the United States may have with oil rich companies,
Right.
oil rich regions. The Koreans, they got the lock on all the beauty supplies. So whatever lower tariff, raised tariff, or whatever relationship they got with the Koreans, they say, all right, you give us this, we'll give you this in the black people neighborhood. And don't worry about it because the black politicians, they're going to sign off on it. And the constituents, they don't know shit anyway. So you
Exactly.
could do whatever you want to do in these lands. Wait a minute. You want real estate? The other most valuable resource in the community is real estate. So don't worry about it. You could go over there and buy whatever you want, sell whatever you want, do whatever you want. It's open territory in their area. You can't do that in the land of the Jews up north. They own all of that. Even in Little Village, no, you can't penetrate Little Village because all the Mexicans own all them buildings and stores and shit over there. So you can't penetrate those areas. But the black lands is open. You can go over there. It's a free market, like what we used to do back in the drug dealing days. Every area we had was our area, but every block wasn't free market.
Right.
Um, so anyway, or to address what the young man was saying about franchising. Franchising is a different type of business, so you can go in and get a franchise. Anybody can go in and get a franchise,
Right.
pretty much if you got the money behind you. Now, guaranteeing the money is a different story. That's one of the reasons why I want us to, not I, but the need for incubation is relative because there's a vision that I'm seeing that if we don't start to learn how to uh, be partners in the law firm may have Ezra name on it and Rico name on it, but without Lawrence and Real, it's not going to be a valuable business. And if we don't learn to get rid of ego and learn to be partners in the law firm and start to unite around business and learn how to put the pieces together and practice Dr. Claude Anderson group economics, the powernomics theory, then we're gonna perish. And I'm sorry for saying it like that, but I'll yield. But I just wanted to toss that out there, man. We're gonna all die off if we don't learn this concept. If we don't learn to put our egos to side and learn how to come together, man, and build real business with each other and learn how to straighten up our character so that we can actually do good business with each other and be trustworthy, honorable, and respectable people, then we're gonna die off, man. And our kids ain't gonna it just ain't gonna be too many of us left. And those of us gonna be left gonna be mixed and shit. So nothing against mixed people. I got a little Obama G baby, love him to death. I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so. You was making a good point. It's nothing. It's nothing stopping us, brother. Like so. He made a valuable point. There's nothing stopping us from going. But it's just when you start getting into like personal guarantees and stuff like that. A lot of times that just don't mean your name and your credit. It means collateral. So that means that they want you to put up things or put your house on the line. Put
Yeah,
your yeah.
sometimes, but every time you personal guarantee, you don't have to have an asset. If you have an asset to leverage, that would take away the personal guarantee. And yes, some people might say no, but this is a capitalist society. If you're gonna make money and you're gonna do business, you're gonna find somebody who's gonna do business with you. I've met people personally, black men who own businesses and who's leveraged business credit. I think that nigga, even though you gotta acknowledge racism, right? You got to look at it like if you looking for a yellow car, if you say, God damn, it's a lot of fucking yellow cars out here, you're gonna see yellow cars all day, every day. So
Yeah,
if you look for whatever said outcome is, you're definitely gonna find that outcome. If you approach this shit like it's nothing that's gonna stop me, okay, you said no, fuck you. It's plenty of banks. It's plenty.
yeah, but like I'm saying, what I'm saying, brother, I get it, but it's like I said, you gotta look more into uh, because a business is open, it doesn't necessarily. You got to look at the bottom line. So when people tell me, all right, I got to thrive in business, and then we sit down and we look at profit and loss statements, right? And
Right,
we look at it over a historical. If you've been open for 10 years,
right,
let's look over your profit and loss statement historically. Let's
right,
see if you paying into. Let's see what you paying your employees, right? Because
right.
now we got to remember a lot of these individuals do have businesses, right? And they may have personally guaranteed loans or they've used working capital and business credit. But we was talking, and I was talking about business. Let's get to the point. Let's see
Down to the
what
nitty
your
gritty.
right. Let's see where your employees are. Are you paying them? Do they have health insurance? You see what I'm saying? Are
Right.
you paying into they unemployment? Are you paying into their social security? Do they have a retirement plan? Because now you're gonna have a revolving door because now those people that is actually employed by you, they always gonna be looking for something better because you're not able to offer them anything.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, on
that's
the
just that's
surface,
just part of doing business though, because if we walk into a
yeah,
beauty supply, a thriving business, and damn near any black community, right? That's a community business, right? They
Hmm.
not offering that. They not offering no business.
but you're looking at Asians over the black. We talk about
Right, but
the
I'm just
black.
giving that as an example of a thriving cash flowing business. You can look at any beauty supply that's been here for the last 5, 10 years.
So Laurel, what they do is they have a conglomerate we type of mindset. So they may have those stores may have different names on them, but the
They might all be
supplier.
under the same.
Exactly. So at the top level, and then they employ blacks part time. So if you employ somebody part time, you don't have to pay insurance and all that kind of stuff. You got to pay a little bit of workers' comp or something like that, I believe, but you don't have to pay health insurance and stuff like that for 20, 30 hours a week. Correct?
Right, and so back to his point when he was saying that's the cost of doing business. That's the incorrect way of doing business because say for instance, right, somebody get hurt on in your place of business, one of your employees, he break his leg or something, or he get hurt right on the job. Now you got a problem because if he go down to the unemployment, I mean, if he go to try to file workman's comp, it's a law that you have to pay until this is what you're supposed to do. So if he goes down there and says, "Hey, I'm hurt, I can't work, I need to get paid," now you got a lawsuit.
That's what you
You
have
see what I'm
insurance
saying?
for, right?
No, that's and they gonna deny the claim because now you are operating in a situation where you don't have your employees are not they're not there, as we would say, operating under the guidelines of the Illinois state law. You see what I'm saying? This is a law that you have to pay into your employees' Social Security. You don't have to do medical insurance. Well, now they did actually change that, I think, but you definitely have to do Social Security, unemployment, and Medicaid. You know what I'm saying? That's a law.
Okay,
So
so I
now
just did a
let's
quick AI question. I said, do you have to pay workers' comp up front or as an expense for a business? It said, here's how it usually works. Workers' compensation is insurance, not a direct payroll experience. So this is just something that I'm saying that when you look at it from a standpoint of like, oh, it's gonna be too much going wrong. These are the type of things that's gonna keep us from owning a business. That's all I'm
No,
trying to
I know
point
what
out.
you said, brother. What I'm saying, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely get it. No, we not coming at this saying that it can't be done. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is for you to sustain, anybody can go and start a corporation right now. But we talking about sustainability. How many now look up how many black businesses actually survive and how many businesses this year black businesses have actually closed. Could you look that up? Let's
Yeah, I'm
see.
doing it
Let's
right
see
now.
the
How many?
statistics
And
on that.
what? Give
Right.
me an area. Give me an area.
Chicago.
Chicago.
Ezra, you still there? Because I ain't heard, we ain't heard from you.
Oh yeah, I'm taking it in. I'll double dutch my
Jump.
way
Yeah, so
in when
cause
I got a
yeah, so
second.
I'm just talking about like sustainability. That's where I'm getting at. I'm not. That's what because we got to start sustaining. Like this is the only way this is gonna work. You see what I'm saying? This is why you see so many people. Like 1 minute you got, you know what
It
I'm saying,
say
a barbershop.
17 to 19% of businesses disappeared this year.
But now see up how many black owned businesses are in Chicago. It's probably only about what 20%.
And focus on community-based business. We're not
Okay,
talking.
so when y'all think about community-based businesses, like I say, I think about my pops-in-law. He got a small, I don't know if it could be considered a community-based business, but it's a
Where is it?
small bit and it's owned by a black man that used his personal credit, and that business has been open for 8 years through the pandemic and everything. And he's
Is
not
that
a
the?
genius. He doesn't
Is,
have some type of secret society knowledge,
mm,
and that's not his first business venture. So when I used to talk to him, what I gained from it is that sometimes you just got to jump in the water and swim. And if you, hey, if it go bad, it go bad, and you gonna keep it moving. You ain't gonna die. You gonna pick
so
up
so
pick up the pieces, and you're
what
gonna keep
type
it moving.
what type of business?
It's a cleaning company that he
Okay,
cleans up businesses after
all
they
right,
close down.
and that's fine. So that's a market that there's no real political
Taint.
windfall or bureaucracy behind that type of business. But when you start talking essential things like gas stations, grocery stores, and things like that, then you're going to start running into the political windfall.
Well,
But
you
a
got to
cleaning
get
service,
titles and approval and shit.
yeah, you got to be able
Right.
to
That's why I
grease
said,
palms and know the game.
yeah,
But,
yeah. That's why
but
if you heard me when I said I'm not to cut you off, bro. But that's why you
right,
heard when I said we are thriving in sole proprietorship. We got the opportunity to start small business, one or two people working, three. I said we got that we're thriving in that area, but when it comes to
yeah,
like essential businesses,
mhm.
then we having a problem. So yeah,
And
you
that's
can
what
go out there, brother, and start a barbershop and you probably will do well. But when you start talking about essential stuff, it gets a little different. You see what
and
I'm
that's
saying?
what
That's
and
what I was
and
saying.
that
So I just want to clear
and
that up.
and that's what the title is. Are we thriving in these businesses? So we just made a
Yeah.
distinction. Imagine if you had the young man Wesley. He got a cleaning service. He been open for a while. He got a couple of employees. He do pretty well for himself on the cleaning. I know a couple people who got cleaning services who do pretty well for themselves. But they all sole proprietorship, little businesses. What would it take to form a conglomerate? What if all those people came together
Yeah.
and formed,
Yeah.
yeah, and formed one big cleaning service?
Yeah, that's the difference. So that's what I'm
And,
saying. So
and
yeah, brother, you can go and start one of those type of business. That's not I'm not saying you'll do well. You can do that. You know what I'm saying? If you work hard and stuff like that. But when you start getting to essential, you know what I'm saying? I've been in the trucking industry and towing industry for over 20 years. Now it's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? And I do pretty well. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I've had my ups and downs, and I've had to shake it off and get back going, and all of that. So this thing has been tough, but it's been good to me. You know what I'm saying? But what I've noticed that when I began to start to expand, and I started wanting to do things where you want to go into hiring more people and bringing on more staff, that's when things starts to change. So, I had an old man tell me this. He said, stay small and get it all. Now, said, and I started to find out when I started looking into what that meant is because he was saying that when you begin to start to expand, I got a brother right now that's got, he runs an operation that's maybe like 3 times bigger than me. But we was comparing profit and loss statements. And with everything he got going on and what I've got going on, he's only actually earning about maybe like $15,000 to $20,000 on his bottom line more than me. And he's got a lot more moving pieces. You see what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But he can handle a lot more than I can. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's just like I said, when you get to the essential part, that's like a gas station and stuff like that is it's different. You know what I'm saying? But no, you can do all of
Can
these.
I
That's so
Yep, please.
yeah, I want to jump in if I may. I think that what the rail is speaking about is a mindset that many black people have, that they get bogged down by all of the reality of it that makes them not even want to start it, or makes them not go after it,
exactly,
or their mind says this is too hard, so I ain't doing it, or
exactly,
I'm gonna get stopped when I get here, so let me just not even
exactly.
try. So I think that everything you're saying, I think has to be a mix. So everything you're saying is like the nuts and bolts, the real, when you get in here, this is what it's gonna look like. But I think what Laurel is saying, which I agree with both of you, but what Laurel is more talking about is, all right, that may be the case, but let's still do it. Let's still go. Let's still
Exactly.
try.
Let's get to it. What do we what
And yeah, and so what
Let them have the
Rico is
floor.
saying, if I'm catching you correctly, is yeah, let's go ahead and try, but let's not be naive to what it actually takes. Because when you sometimes, so the balance is the mindset that Lorel is speaking of I'm not taking no excuses, I'm doing it. But sometimes when you enter with that mindset, and then you meet barriers, then sometimes you get thrown off. So I think what Rico is saying is, yeah, let's do it and let's have that mindset, but let's also be aware that there might be some hiccups, there might be some barriers, and let's figure out how to get around those so we can take our mindset and be more successful because we're aware of what's going to happen when we get there.
Oh, okay.
yep,
Oh,
I can
okay.
dig
But
it.
I
All right.
definitely I deal with a lot of people with them mindsets, bro. That's just like, man, I ain't gonna be able to, cause nah, man, just try it, bro. Just try it. You know what I'm saying? But the best thing you can do is almost like taking a driver exam, with the maneuverability with the cones. You got to know where the cones are so you can maneuver
So you can
around them. If you don't
maneuver.
know where they are, you're
For
gonna hit them.
sure.
So I,
Yeah.
I agree with both, and I appreciate you, Rico, for breaking it down. And I'm just sitting here listening because I don't know much about business in terms of running one. So I'm just sitting here soaking it all in. That's why I wasn't saying much. So I appreciate you giving the game,
right,
the little
right.
bit that you're
Uh,
giving. So I think it's just like
yeah, yeah.
you take Laurel's mindset and add it to Rico's practical experience, and now you enter a situation with the higher likelihood of being able to maneuver around the cones and be successful, plus be the person who's willing to take on the challenge because you're not taking no excuses.
Right, and
And
I
both.
agree. But I would say, but we have to make sure that we taking our confidence to actually go get the evidence. You see what I'm saying? Like we gotta go
There
get
you
the
go.
instead of yeah. You see what I'm saying? We gotta go get. We can't
Amen.
just base on theory. You see what I'm saying? So don't allow your confidence because I'm gonna tell you something, man. It's one thing to enter a situation with confidence, man. You come in this fight, man, and you swinging like hell to get this. It's gonna feel good as fuck when the beginning. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm in this shit. I done did it. I done accomplished something, man. But when a motherfucker pull the rug from up under you because you was ill prepared and you didn't have all of the evidence that it took for you to sustain, that's why I keep going back to this sustainability thing, man. Because
I
it
hear
didn't
that a lot
happen
in
to me.
business.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like it's didn't happen to me. And this is why I'm speaking from experience. You know what I'm saying? I tell people this all the time. I started my business when I was 25. You see what I'm saying? So I'm coming out of the street and I'm in it. You can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm man, I'm this how I'm doing this. But as time began to go on, right? I lacked because I was operating on theory. You see what I'm saying? Versus having the knowledge about what it actually takes to actually operate a business. You know what I'm saying? And so it happened to me twice. You see what I'm saying? And it's not a good feeling. It can if you don't have because now that's when you really got to use that confidence now for you to get back in it. When you coming back with nothing, when you done burnt up your credit. You see what I'm saying? Now because shit, you done tapped out all your credit cards because now the money ain't coming. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So now that's what I'm saying. So don't let's have the confidence, but let's not let it overshadow, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's go get the evidence so that you can sustain. That's my thing. I want us to sustain in whatever it is you're doing, man. Because when they, because these some real live thugs out here, man. When it come to this financial system, and they don't give a damn about you, man. The bank,
Yeah.
none of them, man. They don't want to hear none of your damn excuses about what ain't happening. They coming to take their shit back. You see what I'm saying? And now you're gonna have to figure it out about how you gonna get back in the game. And now we don't have group economics, so we don't have the brothers that you could come back to and say, hey, I didn't something happened. Man, I need 15, 20. Can y'all come together and put up with me, man? I'm gonna give y'all equity in this idea. You see what I'm saying? So man, I'm gonna give y'all
Mm.
5-10% of this. You see what I'm saying? But I need y'all to help me get back in. I'm licking my wounds. I know how to come back at this now. You see what I'm saying? So I think we
Yeah.
speaking more on, you know what I'm saying, sole proprietorship versus the essential business, like Brother Lawrence was saying in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bring that confidence, but you gotta make sure you keep it. You see what I'm saying? But you gotta go get the evidence, man, on what it's gonna take to sustain, man. Because I'm telling you, you need people, you need customers, so you need to learn all of that sales, uh, 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 all of
Market
that. Even if
analysis.
absolutely all of
Let
that.
me jump.
And
Let
see,
me jump in. Let me jump in real quick, Rico, and give an example of what you're talking about. Why it's fresh on my mind, real quick.
all right,
You know that you know the business. You know that Waffle House thing they tried to open right here on 94th and Stony Island. Uh,
yep,
uh, yeah. So they opened. You see the level of investment that they invested into that business, and it was a sole proprietor, a black lady. So her theory was there are no sit down restaurants in the black neighborhood in the black community. I'll open up in a relatively middle class neighborhood like around where she opened up at, and she thought that she'll get a steady flow of people from the old folks home that it was built in front of. That was her theory. But
Mm-hmm.
she didn't do the market analysis or understand what I said earlier in this conversation, that the values of the community drive the profitability of said business. So I said that to say that black people, we don't at the current day, modern day black people, especially in these neighborhoods, we don't value sit down restaurants like that. That's not something that you're gonna see a lot of people say, hey, let's get up and go out to the sit down restaurant.
Unless
You
it's
know, they
downtown and some shit like that where they
unless
can
they're going
post
right
fancy pictures and shit.
to the white people, like I
Exactly.
said earlier.
but
So
the white ice is
that
colder, right? I guess,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So that
Yeah.
business and that level of investment only lasted about 2 or 3 years, and that probably was just off the loan and the investment that she got because it wasn't turning a profit. Now think about what she is in her life right now. She didn't file bankruptcy and all that. Can you imagine what she's feeling like right now? What she's going through after that failed venture? And that's what Rico was saying. Yeah, she had all the confidence that this was going to work. She went face first into it, feet first into it, got the loan, got the business, got all the thing to back her, and then boom, it didn't work. Now, I explained this to a person I work with, Sam, the black lady, and she was like, yeah, I know her, and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't tell her, I had to tell her, I used that case as a case scenario of how black community-based businesses fail. So now you look at that sit down restaurant. Now you go 2 blocks, you go up to that's on 94th and Stony. You go right over the track, you go into the little mall. What restaurants are there? You got 2, 3 fast food restaurants thriving, been there for years. Open before that place, still open. Come right down the street to 90 first and Stony Island. There's another Wings and Things. Open before that restaurant, still open. Go down the
Still
street,
open.
yeah, still
Mm-hmm.
open. Go down the street west, to 95th and Woodlawn, you got another fast food restaurant still open. Go to 95th and Jeffrey, you got 3, 4, 5, you all around this one big restaurant business. This one fails, the other one's still open and thriving because she didn't do market analysis. She didn't understand what her customer base was. She didn't test her theory against the reality of said community. If she did, she would have realized that opening that type of business in these type of areas is not going to make money.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? She would have been did better trying to do like a fast food type of deal, because that's what the values are in Black America: fast, quick, fast. You might not like it, but until you can change the mindset and the culture of Black America, if you're gonna do business in the community, you need to cater your business, like Brother Ezra was saying, according to the needs and the values of that community in order to thrive. That's my
Prime,
conclusion. I'll let you.
prime example. I'll just give y'all a quick example. Me, for example. Uh, yeah, I'm Chicago based, and so I had to once again operate. I was operating on theory, so I figured, hey, I'm in Chicago. I'm gonna provide my service in Chicago, right? But it just wasn't working. So I shifted one state over, Indiana, right? Went
Hmm.
to a community, you know what I'm saying, where they actually need what I'm offering. You know what I'm saying? And that's when things began to turn around. But I was in my feelings about it because I'm like, well, damn, why am I getting the same support, right? From in my city. You know what I'm saying? But when I sat down and I talked to a black owned business owner, he explained to me. He said, well, this is the thing. You didn't sit down and do a cost analysis on how much it was going to take for you to operate. Like, you have to see how much it costs you to operate, right? And so nobody had ever told me that. He like, you just trying to see how much money that you're going to earn. He said, so it's just like, if how much does it cost to operate? Now, I've never had any of this information to go back to the education. How much does it cost to operate per day? I couldn't answer that. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, I ain't ever looked at it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we had to break everything down to me. Like, okay, so if you go out and make just say $1,000 a day and it costs you 920 to operate, you just made $80. And so when he got to telling me, and I started sitting down, I got a good CPA. I started to find out that shit. I was just turning money. I wasn't. You see what I'm saying? It was just coming in and going right back out.
Hmm.
And so that back to the point, you know what I'm saying? She set up a business there that was not, it didn't serve the community. They didn't want that. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And the mindset of
She
it is too.
she wanted that.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
she
trying to say.
wanted that. She
There
and
you
that's what
go.
happens to a lot. That's what happens to a lot of Black businesses. They go off theory and say, "I think that this will work well, and I want to bring this to the community," and not
Yeah.
understanding that that's not what these community values. And we be in
Yeah.
delusional la la land, ego land about who we truly are as a people, and don't want to admit, well, we got some real fucked up characteristics in our community and our ways. You want to overlook that and say, I'm going to put a fucking community center right here. Well, guess what's going to happen in that community center that you put right there? Only the people right here are going to be able to come. The dudes across the
Yeah.
way ain't going to be able to come to
Yeah.
that community center.
Yeah.
The ones
Yeah.
down the street, down the block, they not going to be able to come over there because they might get killed if they come over there. That's the
Yeah.
reality. And that's the thing that a lot of us overlook because we've been sold the I don't know what the I don't want to say it on the YouTube thing. I could tell you
Yeah. Yeah.
offline with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
but
should know what you're
yeah,
gonna say,
you've
but
been
yeah.
sold these non-realistic dreams. I mean, ideas and visions about who we really are, with the finger pointed outward, when in reality the finger should be pointed in the mirror. And if you
Yeah.
point the finger in the mirror, then you'll find out what a problem really is. And once you start
Yeah.
to realize the problem, then you can start to thrive in these areas. And that's one of the reasons why I brought this up, is because we are, in my opinion, we're not thriving in community-based businesses. I watch the Latinos run circles around us in landscaping, run circles around us in contracting. Everybody get money in these communities legally, except for us, except for a few
Except
of us.
for
Couple of us do well, but as a conglomerate or as a group, we just losing, man. And hopefully
yeah,
I'm
man.
wrong.
No, you're right, brother. But I believe that there's opportunity to turn it around. I do. I mean, it affected me so bad. I went to a whole other state and operated business. So that's what I'm saying. And I had some great mentors and all of that, man. And I had to really, like he said, look in the mirror and find out what the hell is holding you back, man. Why you keep bumping your head? And it was me, because give, I'm trying to operate in business on what I want versus what is needed. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, man, it don't work like that. So that's what I was gonna say. I just recommend that if anybody on here that's getting ready to start a business, I mean, brother, you can see that right now, right? There's three of us on this call, but how many people have you sent this email out to? You see what I'm saying? Like
About
you see what
25, 30. Yeah.
you see what
I,
I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
It's tough. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. And that's the point, that's the part that we gotta fix. You see what I'm saying? To come back to that group thing, like shit, we gotta we can't get 25 people on the call. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, why we not supporting each other? That go back to looking at ourselves. You see what I'm saying? Because if it would have been some with somebody else, like you said, the white ice is colder, won't be on it.
Or would
Because
have
you
been
know what I'm
some
saying?
catering to vices or some type of
Yeah,
fleshly
yeah,
shit like that or something.
yeah,
You feel me?
yeah,
But I
yeah.
think
So
that
so
for
yeah,
every
man.
problem is a solution. That's the way that I look at life. That's the way I always approach it since I was little, since I was hustling, whatever, right? It's gonna
Yeah,
be a problem, a solution. You ain't this we don't live and we ain't living and we living in reality. In reality, it's gonna be problems, it's gonna be obstacles, it's gonna be hurdles, it's gonna be pressure. So is you gonna let that pressure bust your pipe or is it gonna make a diamond out you? It's your choice, you feel me? So that's
yeah.
just
You
how
you,
I look.
you Yeah, you just got to make sure you got them people with you though, brother. Cause
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. Cause I've seen a lot of guys, man. I would have put anything on, man, to say that, you know what I'm saying. Man, they you know they ain't flipping like that. But shit, man, when that pressure got on, man, cause I got a lot of guys, man, that came out of the joint, man, and this, you know what I'm saying, and started business, and they came and consulted with me, and I was explaining to them, like, it's a little different, man. You know what I'm saying? From what you used to. No, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? When I was hustling, ooh, this, ooh, okay, all right. And that's all they ever reverted back to was that saying right there. But I've seen it actually really snatch their soul, man, when they got out here to try to, you see what I'm saying, get something. And it turned into, man, this shit don't work. They putting out, they making it so motherfucking hard. This shit. And I'm like, I told you. You see what I'm saying? Because now it's so much that you don't know that you got to learn, man. And you're not willing to do it. You just want to come and make some bread. You see what I'm saying? And you got to go back to the basics now. You got to go back to being a student. You got to go back to researching. You got to go back to getting out your own way. And you so used to doing a certain thing a certain way because this way you was getting your results back then. But that shit ain't
Quick,
working right now.
quick, fast.
Yeah,
There,
yeah. You see
there
what I'm
is a
saying?
there is a resource, Ezra, Rel, Rico. There's a resource on the SBA.gov. I'll send a link out to you guys. It's at the end of my community development curriculum. That the business development part, business startup part. SBA.gov got a whole course on how to start a business with market analysis, cost analysis, all of the things you could test your theory, all of the. I mean, it's a beautiful resource. So I'll send
Uh,
that
s-
to you
s-
guys.
Yes, and side note, and just so the brothers that's on here, I've used SBA. They've helped me out a lot. So just so that's what I'm saying. It's not impossible, but I'm saying that just know that, you know what I'm saying. If you do get any funding, man, have a solid plan as best as you can, and they're a good resource for you to actually thrive. You know what
Yeah,
I
Mm-hmm.
they
mean?
put. I mean, it's
Yeah,
a
and the loans
beautiful
are
course.
very, yeah, yeah. I
The
took it,
course is
and
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful, yeah, and it's uh it's
Where you find it at on SBA site right now? Not to cut you off. I'm sorry.
SBA.gov. I'll send you the link to it.
All right.
yeah, yeah. They and the loans, uh, they got a very low interest rate, and they extend them. You know what I'm saying? Sometime over 30 years. You know what I mean? So it's a good resource, man. So that's what I'm saying. There's things that are available, but you just have to be you know what I mean? So you don't screw up, man. And that's the part I'm saying. So you have somebody to go on the apply for the loan, won't take the course. Like, you take the shit. You know what I'm saying? So you can understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because marketing is a big part of that. to get people to actually spend money with you, it's shit on a consistent basis. Shit. So yeah, but I believe that we do need some gas stations and stuff like that, man. I would love to see that. You know, I remember on 95th, man, right off between Jeffrey and Stein. Remember that black you right
Yep.
there for a long time, man.
I remember. I remember.
Yeah. I don't know what happened with that old man, but I guess he's
Uh,
sold and kids maybe them. I
he
don't know.
passed. He probably passed away, and that happened to a lot of black people in America. Our elders and ancestors did very well, and then once the I call it the degeneracy agenda hit, most of their descendants turned out to be ain't shit people, and they couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
a bunch of ain't shit
yeah,
motherfuckers just
yeah,
rose
yeah,
up. Yeah, so
yeah. So
they
we
lost all their houses and shit, and
yeah.
couldn't even pay the
All right,
goddamn
so
taxes and utilities on properties that was paid off.
yeah. So what's the
Crackheads
solution
and
in our opinions, man? What's the solution in our
the
opinions? As we
solution.
talked about, yeah,
The solution that I'm theorizing is what I'm trying to do here is create a man network of morally sound men that come together regularly, have discussions, come together regularly, and incubate business ideas. Come together regularly and create healthy relationships with one another, share information with each other, and really stand firm on being each other's brothers and seeing it spread like wildfire. Uh, that's what I think, and it has to be a certain criteria to even get into a man network. You can't just be any old person. You gotta have some honor and some decency and some dignity and some respect to yourself before you be taken seriously.